Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a video introduction for Retro Flashback, my new YouTube show focused on showcasing gaming's roots for a new generation. My name's Parallax Abstraction, and I'm recording this little thing just to give you an idea what this show is, whether you've stumbled upon it or heard about it from either myself or somebody else. I wanted to give people a little idea what they're in for when they check out this show. There are 1,000,001 gaming YouTube shows, and this one I'm hoping is going to be a little different. So I wanted to give a little explanation of what this is and what you can expect from it. So yeah, what is Retro Flashback? Well, I got kind of bit by the creativity bug last year at some point, and really thought this whole idea of YouTube and gaming content on YouTube was really interesting. But I didn't just want to do what a lot of other people are. I didn't just want to do Let's Plays, and I didn't just want to talk about the same content that everybody else is talking about. And then it occurred to me that one of my gaming passions, much as I love the modern stuff, is retro titles as well. I actually used to be a really big retro collector a few years ago. I had a pretty good collection amassed. But as is often the case with people who get into collecting and get way too far down that rabbit hole, it was costing me a lot of money and a lot of time, and it was starting to negatively impact my life. So I made the decision at one point to get out of that hobby completely. I sold the collection off and haven't gone back to that since. I don't think I ever will. I really love doing it, but there reaches a point when you're collecting pretty much anything where if you want to keep the collection growing, you've got to start entering the realm of the exceedingly rare and thus the exceedingly expensive. So I was like, yeah, it's probably time to get out of this before it gets too dangerous. But I still love retro titles. I've been playing video games pretty much since I was old enough to read. I started on a Commodore 64 back in the early 80s, and I'm all the way up to playing stuff on the modern consoles and gaming PCs now. But it occurred to me one day when I was having a conversation with a friend of mine that we are reaching a point for the first time in history where we have a generation of gamers who are growing up not necessarily having access to a lot of the older stuff and having no real appreciation for it. For the longest time, the vast majority of people who were really into gaming were people who grew up on the old stuff. They know the classics like the Super Mario Brothers and other titles like that, and they have that historical foundation, and they have seen how the gaming medium has evolved in an absolutely astounding way since then. I mean, what games were then to compared to what they are now is just mind-blowing. But there are a lot of young people now who have never had that opportunity. They don't have access to that stuff. They didn't grow up with it. And they're starting at a much later point in gaming's history or life cycle, I guess, if you want to call it that. And I think it's really important for people who are really into the hobby to have an opportunity to really see where games are rooted, where they came from, and how a lot of the big games of the past have influenced the games that we see today. And that's kind of what this show's about. I really want to be able to show people a lot of the historical titles and what made them cool, or in some cases not cool. I'm not just going to be showing the good stuff here, and how they played into the history of games and why they're an important thing for today. The tagline of the show is showcasing gaming's roots for a new generation, and I hope I'll be able to do that in some way. I was inspired to do this show by the likes of people like Total Biscuit and, to a certain degree, the guys from Giant Bomb and places like that as well. Giant Bomb kind of does a show like this now sporadically called Encyclopedia Bombastica, where they basically commentate over gameplay of older titles and talk about them historically. That's basically what I'm doing. I really like what Giant Bomb is doing, and frankly, those guys are great in front of a camera. They're very good at it. But the great thing is, I mean, I think multiple types of this kind of show can exist. I haven't seen anyone else doing it, but there are so many games out there that, you know, you could have hundreds of us talking constantly about retro titles, and it would still take forever to go through them all. So I think it's great that more people are doing this. I think that it's great that Giant Bomb's doing it as well, and I hope I can complement that rather than compete with it. I really don't want to compete with anybody. So yeah, I think it's going to be kind of interesting. I am not showcasing games in any particular order. I'm hoping maybe at some point to do things like theme weeks or theme periods or something like that, where I'll talk about either certain series or certain time periods, certain platforms. I maybe eventually hope to do shows on platforms specifically, not just games, but the systems that they did that on. Those are going to be a little bit more work, so one step at a time. I have some experience with video, but none with commentary, and none capturing stuff from some of these old systems, which is challenging to say the least. So I'm taking this one step at a time. I hope to constantly improve this show, and you will see it evolve over time. But I'm gonna start small and build up from there. So yeah, I have nothing's going to be excluded. Good games, bad games, games in genres that I like, genres that I don't particularly care for, games on just about any platform I can get access to. There'll be all kinds of stuff covered. If you have games that you would like to see, feel free to suggest them. I'm not taking any direct requests per se, but if there is titles that a large group would like to see done, I'll probably add it to the list and work on it. Some of these titles involve more than just pressing record and talking over them. It does involve a lot of research, and some of games came out on multiple platforms and had multiple versions across multiple platforms, so that sort of mixes things up a little bit. But I'm hoping, to give old and new gamers alike a little bit of reflection on gaming's history, and maybe just even give some people a little nostalgia kick. Nostalgia is always fun, right? So that's basically the concept. I hope you're going to enjoy it. I am, as always, looking for feedback. I know what YouTube comments can be like. I'm very cognizant of that. And I'm just taking a stance on it that if you have something intelligent to say, please feel free to say it. If you're going to be a stereotypical YouTube commenter, go ahead if you want, but don't expect me to acknowledge or reply to it. The only people I'm going to talk to are the people who have something intelligent to say. So if you want to troll in the comments, go ahead, but don't expect to impact me at all, because I'm making it a point to avoid all that stuff. And as always, I hope to not spam up my commentary with this stuff, because I know a lot of people do this. But if you do like the show, please feel free to give the thumbs up to the episodes that you watch. Consider subscribing to it, adding it to a favorite, and commenting if you want. All that stuff does help the channel grow. It does help it get noticed, and that's what I want to do. I hope that this can expand out and get some more attention from people and some more interest. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to the challenge of making it, and I really hope that you guys will enjoy watching it and get something valuable out of it. I think video games are amazing. I think they are one of the greatest potential creative mediums that humanity's ever had. And I think showcasing their history is extremely important. And I hope to be one small part of what I hope will eventually be a large group of people dedicated to doing that. So thank you very much for watching this intro. The first video, which is of Codename Viper for the NES, is already up on the channel along with this. And I hope to do, my target is to do probably 2 episodes of this a week, but I do have a day job and a life outside of that day job as well, so I'm not promising anything right now. This is probably never going to become a job for me. I don't really have any aspirations of that. But the way I've got my production flow set up, I think I can do 2 a week reliably, but sometimes it may be more, sometimes it may be less. It's going to be whatever I can manage. If you like this content as well, feel free to also check out my blog, which is at geekbravado.com. You'll see that in the intro to all the videos anyway. But I blog about a lot of stuff there, principally gaming, but other things as well. And that's very different content than what you're going to see here. And hopefully you'll like that stuff as well. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and enjoy Retro Flashback. Thanks, guys.